Hi, in this video I'm going to show you two versions of making a stand-up casting bar for your kayak. Now, both versions are going to be using 3/4 inch diameter EMT conduit, and one of the versions will be using Bimini top parts and the other will be using a combination of Bimini top parts as well as EMT connectors. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. These are the main parts that I'm going to be using for both versions of this project. Now I have all these Bimini top parts, and this is a base, and it's got a quick release pin. Then I have the vertical support here that has also a little set screw in there for tension, as well as the screw for the next piece, which is the end caps here that goes on each end of the tubing for the cross members. And they also have the little set screw in there. But eventually what I'm going to do is, once I have everything dry fit and then tightened to the way I want it to be, I'll replace those with some screws. And then for the non-bending version, I'm going to have some of these 90-degree pre-bent conduit, along with the couplers. I wanted to show both versions of the bending section. As you can see, the inner one there, I've already used a pipe bender to make the curves, and the one on the top, that's using the 90s that I purchased from the big box store, and you have a coupler at each section that it needs to be attached, and then you have the centerpiece in there that gives the width. And if you're not familiar with using the bender, or if you're having trouble coming up with the correct measurements, the top way to do it would probably be easier for you. The first measurement I took in order to start this project is the most important one of all. Now, as you can see, or maybe you can't, I have angled tracks here, so I'm going to have two different measurements, but that's not going to matter. The most important measurement is the one where the front or the grab bar section is going to go in your tracks. And so once I butted up all these internal nuts in here up to the top, I measured where I want to put it, and I came up with a distance of about 27 3/4 inches. That's what I'm going to base everything off of. So once I did my initial measurement, now I've attached my 4 Bimini bases, and these have quick connect pins in case I want to take everything out and move it, or not even put it on the skip one day. And so I faced everything on the inside, which makes it easier to pull off if you happen to be inside the boat. And now that I have those 4 points figured out, I can attach my front bar and then make up my side connectors, which will probably be at a roughly 45-degree angle. Now I want to show you how you attach these Bimini top pieces, and so I'm going to do it on this half of the curve using the conduit and the conduit connectors, in case you don't want to do the bend method. So what I've done is I've slid the side connector, or the 45-degree connector if it's close enough, onto the end of the pipe. Now, sometimes it might be a little bit stiff, or if the diameter is a little small, hard to get on and pound it up to where you want it to be. So what I did was, I just cut a hole in a piece of 2x4 that will slide over the end of the pipe and then make contact here with the Bimini connector. And then I just hit the 2x4 with a hammer so I don't damage this, and it allows me to easily adjust the length for that connector. And then for the end caps, they just slide on like this. And then again, I just gave a little light tap with my little tool, or you can even use a hammer if you don't want to hit it too hard, just to get it to seat right. Now I do want to mention something that's very important to make this all work right. All three of these connections on these end caps here all have to be aligned properly when you put everything together. Now, by dry fitting them, you can tweak them while you're putting them together. Like what I did up here in this top one up here, I just got a pair of pliers and kind of moved it so I could get the correct angle to make everything work the way it should. This is what the final project looks like when I'm using the bent conduit handle. And after I dry fit everything, I went ahead and tightened it all up, and everything fits just fine. So that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. Thank you.